Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beginner Breakdowns. This time with myself and my man Seth series. How are you doing tonight,
Hey,
Seth?
hey kids! It's been a hot minute since I've returned to join you all, but we're here. We're back. We're here to break some stuff down, man.
Okay. How
It's
was
been a
your
hell of a week, but we're gonna get some stuff done.
How was your time at final round?
Uh, I played casuals in like a real small room for a whopping for a whopping 6 hours until 2 a.m. So it was a good time. I kind of got bodied in the tournament, but every single one of those brackets was stacked in a way that it's just crazy.
Well, hey, better to go and get body than to not go.
I mean, I had to play Atlanta Tech and if we have a small town for an anecdote, let me tell you, Atlanta Tech is some shit.
Isn't that the truth? All right. So, on our actual bracket for tonight, we've got some matches from Easy Pizza Hands here playing Ryu against a Ed, and then there's supposed to be two against a Chun, but one of them wasn't working, so I grabbed another one against another Chun that he played. So, it still kind of works. This is going to be an interesting one. This is a kind of a low gold, mid gold player. So that's a little bit different. The criticism is going to be a little bit different because, once you get into gold, it's kind of assumed you have some idea of what you're doing in a way that silver and bronze, we kind of assume there's going to be like big holes. Once you get to gold, you kind of have to start patching those holes. So it's a little bit of a different analysis. Not all of them, though. Everybody in gold still got holes.
None of you all are safe.
No one here is free from sin. So Rhea versus Ed. You've played a little both, I think. What do you think of this matchup?
I got to both of these ranks with these characters, so this is a really weird matchup just because like Ed is Ed and Ryu is like so fundamentals heavy. So like you can have the fireball war, but like I do feel like kind of Ed's got some tools to shut Ryu down. It's just he's got to get in, and Ryu's got some very solid get out of my face buttons.
That was a solid duck and punish on that high kick there.
So one thing we want to be really careful with. Go back a little bit to that scramble with the crouching forward into cycle upper. So we see kind of like a little bit of air here, and then, ooh, yeah. So like right there, that is the better option with that would have probably been a crouching heavy punch and then pop him up with up kicks, or just to go straight into up kicks.
So I'm not sure I agree with what Ryu did for that combo there, but you might have a better commentary.
Yeah. Let me cover that. Sorry, I was focused on Ed and stuff. Okay, so we got this here.
I think he can get something pretty more significant out of that, especially at mid-screen.
I know why he did that. That was for Oki.
But he doesn't really take advantage of it.
He doesn't really do it, but like after that big Tatsu, you can do axe kick, and if they hit a button, they just get lit up.
And he tried to do, I think, down jab there, and it just did not work. Okay, so there's another big opportunity.
There's a lot of bad decision making here. So that crush counter punish is incredibly unoptimal.
Like he gets two in a row, two opportunities to punish that psycho upper. I mean, only one of them is a crush counter, but he messes up the donkey kick combo there, and then
they both should have been crush counter because like even the regular version, that's a DP ass DP.
And this one he just completely muffs it, goes into the overhead. I don't know if that's a misinput or it was intentional. And
he may have. I mean, I've not messed around with season 3 Ryu, and like I kind of quit playing season 2 Ryu like right around after Combo Breaker. Or no, I quit playing around.
okay, from the chat, it was a misinput. So that it's always a question there, because if it's a misinput, then the advice is you gotta tighten that up. You gotta check your inputs, especially for those big damage combos that can win you rounds.
I mean, that's
the difference between a bad input and bad decision making is pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, like, just straight up, like, there is a lot of missed opportunity there, and there's a lot of damage that got left on the floor, and a lot of damage that could have killed this round.
Yeah, if he had landed that crush counter combo in full, I think Ed probably would be dead, especially if he spent a little meter on it.
Well, yeah, no, it's not even that. He doesn't even need to spend a meter. He can do, he should be able to do standing roundhouse, crush counter, standing roundhouse, light kick, or, standing light kick, DP, and dead. DED, dead.
But I believe he still manages to close this round out with a little bit of, Ed's playing scared now. He's almost stunned. He's almost out of health. He's not really aggressing. He just walks right into that.
Yeah.
So that, good closeout there. Could have closed it sooner, and I think that's going to be a theme here from what I remember watching these. That easy.
So that's good. That's a really good. That's a good jump in over that fireball. Probably could have got a little bit more damage meter off of that. But it's early in the round.
But definitely, I think a trend in this is that Easy Pizza Hands kind of leaves damage on the table, and that's what I think loses him a lot of these games.
Yeah.
See, there we go. That was solid, gets the Yoki, but again, doesn't do anything.
And especially at that point, like, when you're a round up, spin that fucking bar. Like, that was set up into super, and that could have, like, especially in this point where he is, like, definitely there is a little bit of a life lead.
See, like this round's kind of disappointing in a lot of ways. So he gets this great setup here, gets great damage and stun, right? So what does he do with the stun? Gets the jump in combo, but drops it again.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that especially for like gold and super gold, like, that's unacceptable. Like, that is a B&B that you should have drilled hundreds of times by this point.
Yeah, and him missing that lets Ed steal the round, like, straight up.
It really does.
If he had finished those combos out, he would be dead. So, like, easy, if you are watching this right now, or you are going to watch this, you just get those on point. Like, your general game plan is solid, your defense is reasonable, you're not, like, doing anything that's terrible in the neutral or anything, especially for gold, but you cannot drop those combos.
No, because that should have been 100 points that you got from that set. It's a very good, like, that's a good neutral jump setup. I just want to see a little bit more here.
I think this is another heartbreaker of a round, if I recall correctly. Ed gets the solid confirm here. Sets up the pressure again. So Pizza Hands is being a little too polite, I think, to this Ed, too. He's letting him get away with a lot of -2 situations without returning pressure.
He's also, the other thing, too, is, like, this Ed's a dashy boy, and he is just wake up DP.
Yeah, see, like, right there, all those times that Ed's just using his tools to close in on block, he's just not doing anything about it.
The other thing, too, is, like, especially, like, as Ed, you commit to which version of that, you commit to which version of the V skill that you use. And, like, there are different animations for both sides, if I'm not mistaken.
Like,
so,
watch how he ends up losing this round here. So he gets caught out.
He takes dash up, low forward, super.
Yeah, like, you should have shut that down. Like, there's no reason he should be able to dash in that easily, and then just gets caught right here again with something he should not have been caught with.
It's kind of gross. Like, and it's the other thing too is like he's not watching his toes, which is like a really, especially like online where, people have the ability to, like, where lag kind of makes dash up X a viable strategy. Like, you really want to watch, like, you see a lot of high level players do it where it looks like they're just like just frantically like up down up down up down up down, and like as they move forward, like there's a reason for that. Like that's moving forward while immediately switching to low blocking.
All right, sorry, I had to grab my headset. I think we're getting a bit of an echo. That should fix that problem. So let's move on to fight 2 with this Ed. I'm gonna have to skip ahead a bit. My editing is terrible.
That's all right, Kizzo. You're trying. You're trying so hard.
So as I recall, he gets his butt trashed even harder again in the second game, so let's talk about adaptation a little bit here. So, like, this Ed's been showing a very aggressive game, using a lot of, like, yeah, there we go, that's perfect. Like, that's what you got to do. Okay. Let's rewind to that. That cross-up punch that charge heavy punch, he's -2 after that. So, our man sticks out his 5 frame, and Ed walks right into it. That's beautiful. That's exactly how you want to play this. But he's still playing a little bit unreactive. He's letting Ed get away with all these like free.
He's letting. I was gonna say he's letting this Ed player kind of. He's letting this Ed player just kind of run rampant, and like is not checked. He's just letting unchecked bad habits go wild and getting lit up for them.
Like, I think this Ed, like, speaking of that adaptation, I think this Ed has realized that Easy is not like shutting down his run-up game, and he's just starting to abuse it more. He's doing more of these like unsafe, like fake frame traps with the heavy punches and stuff. He's moving forward more aggressively. He's going for that low forward more. Like he's caught on.
He smelled blood in the water. That's exactly what it is. Like he smells blood in the water, and he's going for like.
Okay, so that was a terrible punish from the Ed there. Gotta criticize him for that too.
Jimmy, you throw a Hadouken by punishing Psycho Upper when on block.
All right, so Psycho Flicker there, that's minus. So yeah, starts his aggression. I'm sensing some lack of matchup knowledge here too. Like, there's definitely some stuff.
And Ed's definitely a character that like.
Oh, okay. So there's another round loser right there. Let's go back to that. So Ed goes for the chip here, though, even though that's nowhere near close enough for chip, and does not get appropriately punished there.
No.
Like that, if you block a super, like you unleash the biggest punish you've got that isn't a crush counter.
Yeah, and let's see here. Save me frame data quick select. So Ed's Psycho Barrage is -21.
Yeah.
So you can literally like do whatever button you see fit.
Like you can freaking super him right back with the slowest supers in the game.
Yeah, like that's just. Don't drop your supers, kids.
And like, admittedly, Mr. Pizza Hands is sitting on low resources, and so he wouldn't be able to kill probably, but he would have been able to chop that in half and put Ed also in one-touch kill, which is a very different scenario than you being in one-touch kill and Ed having a good two and a half touches before death. Like it matters, like where your life bars are when one of you is near death. Like when you're both close, you have to play a very different game than when one of you has like some leeway and can get away with some shit before you die.
And the other side of that too is just like, especially in this game, like that life lead isn't. You can come back. Like you can. This is a winnable fight. You just gotta You just can't go ungo with it. Like you gotta play smart, and like especially like with Ryu, who hits like a truck. That's one solid confirm and one bad guess from this Ed player on Wake Up, and he's done. So it's just like it's just some really bad decision making.
Especially considering like this Ed has been showing he's willing to go, make these big bets. Like
He's willing to go dumb.
and like when someone's willing to go dumb, one of the things you got to do is let them.
Don't go dumb with them.
Yeah, you just sit back, you let them go dumb because when they go dumb and you're just
They make mistakes.
and like this Ed has shown he gets aggressive when he's trying to close stuff out. Like if honestly during this last scramble here, like if Pizza Hands hadn't jumped or feinted a jump or just started moving forward, he probably still would have done something like that. Like he could have gotten something out of that.
And that's a crush counter. Like that's a full crush counter punish too.
Like I don't.
And like coming down from that, like
you got infinite time. It's so slow. But
yeah,
but he decides to jump because let's talk about being at low health. He decides to jump because he's kind of panicking. He's got a little sliver of health left. He wants to try to take as much of this as possible, so he takes a big gamble because he's like, well, if I screw up, I'm going to die, so I might as well bet it all, right? He's only got 10 chips left, so he might as well go all in. But that's not. But you gotta restrain that urge. There's
especially because the other side of that too is that is like a very double-sided. It's not particularly in your favor, my dude, but on the other side of that token, they're desperate to get that hit because that hit is the win.
Yeah. So when someone's near death, the tension definitely ramps up. So when the victory generally goes to the person who keeps their head cooler. You can certainly make that bet, and sometimes it pays off, but in the long run, you'll win a lot more games if you just play it solid and look for an opening rather than, betting it all.
But
at least, that's how I feel, and I'm a guy who likes to gamble on silly bets. So, but when I
mean, both of us are grapplers. That's just the way the world works.
But on the other hand, when you get low, you really do just have to kind of try to smarten up. Or, if you smell weakness, then yeah, definitely sure you can go for the gamble. But you have to actually think about the situation. You can't just jump.
No, you like I said, you make some poor decisions. Or you can kind of tighten it up, and you're gonna be playing clinch ass for the next 30 seconds. But it is what it is. There are definitely comebacks, and I have seen, have made, and have been on the receiving end of those comebacks.
All right, so continuing with Mr. Pizza Hands, he crawled back up to gold after that and went up against this Chun-Li. There were supposed to be 2 matches here, but like I said, one of them apparently deleted itself or vanished. The replay system can be a little wonky. So I was able to pull this one. And so this is another kind of interesting matchup. Chun-Li in Season 3 is, I think, better than she was, especially with the Kikosho pressure. But
she's gone from C tier to low or high A depending on the matchup. She's gone from hard work to incredibly viable.
So let's see how he does. I mean, I think it's still a pretty fair matchup. Ryu, I think, is the weaker in it partially because he's fundamentals based, and so is Chun-Li, and I think her fundamentals are a little stronger than his right now. Just a little bit more range, a little bit more ability to play.
They both are heavy footsie characters. Chun-Li can just play it a lot better. And that's what we're seeing so far is we're seeing this Chun player just very much she has a really high level of space control that you don't see a lot at gold, but it's something that Chun players have to learn.
Yeah, especially if this is a dedicated Chun player all the way back through Season 2 when it was the only thing you had.
Yeah, we're seeing some really good Oki.
Okay, I don't know why he activated and then swept as part of that combo there. He could have gotten much better damage there. He's not making these optimal decisions for damage, and it's costing him. because now he's stuck in this Kokosho pressure, which I think there's like a weakness in it, but it catches him, it kills him. Whereas like if he had, let's go back to that combo.
While you do that, I'm gonna look at Kikosho.
Yeah, like I think he could at least EX Shoryuken out of it at some point.
Kikosho at its worst is -2.
Yeah, I think that's like pretty close up. So he gets
if
this
you hold it, it is +18.
Yeah, so he gets this big combo here, but it's not as big as it could be because he ends it with this sweep. And so she still has the life lead, but he gets the follow up, which isn't bad. But now she has V trigger, and he's kind of ceded momentum here. He's like he cedes it right here. He doesn't ever get it back. Like those Kokoshos.
And he's also like none of these are the fully charged. They would guard break. So at any point he could have checked her with a jab or even a standing medium punch because her fastest button is a 3-frame and it'll trade in his favor.
Or if he really wanted to be a little bit of a jerk, he could even Shoryuken out of some of those. Like if he was unsure of exactly like what he was doing, like sometimes you just gotta test it. I would say he just wasn't ready for it. He doesn't know what he's going on, but that's when you gotta like test it because there's no such thing as free pressure.
The other thing too is just like Chun, as better as Chun has gotten, she's still not like a very common character in the lower area of. It's still not like she's still not very common in the lower ranks, just because like she is kind of hard to play. Like
yeah, like she's good, but she's good in a way that requires you to like play the game well, as it were. She doesn't have a lot of gimmicks. Like again, he's really ceding control of the match to her in general. Like he's
willing to just give it away, and it's like
admittedly,
really,
it's hard for Ryu to like aggress against Chun, but it's what you have to do because otherwise you'll just let her like.
It's a matchup where he has got to like stay in on safe pressure, and Ryu can do it. Like Ryu has really good strong plus buttons.
Okay, so there we go. That was good. That was good retaliation.
And then he just immediately walks away from it. Like no Oki, nothing, no baits. Like because like at that point, like especially like
solid hit.
If she's up and moves at all, like if she's up and moves at all, like she's not got charged for spinning bird kick. You're safe. You can do whatever you want.
Like right here, Oki is possible. I mean, he could be worried about spinning bird kick, but she hasn't done it yet. Like she
hasn't,
and like she hasn't done it yet. She hasn't showed any indication she tends to use it. So sometimes you just got and she's one bet from dead, and he can eat one spinning bird kick.
Yeah,
like you gotta.
EX might kill him.
I don't think so. It'd be close, but I don't think so.
Okay.
But like she jumps there and he's backed off.
He's the other side of that too is just like, what is he gonna do from here other than throw a Hadoken?
Like he's backed off to entirely the wrong spacing. Like even if he was like worried about the EX, you stay on top of them and block if you're worried about the EX because then you can punish them. And so like if he had stayed on top of her there and she had done that jump, he could have just Shoryuken and like taken off pretty much most of that health she's got left, and then left her in a position where he can finish her off.
He has enough meter. If he gets if he gets the standing medium punch like in range, he's got enough to where he can do standing medium punch, crouching heavy punch, EX, Tatsu, and kill.
Yeah.
He may even be able to do target like medium punch, heavy punch. Roundhouse and get to kill. What's that?
He's also got an unused V trigger. He could have, if he could have hit her on wake up, popped that, and pretty much finished it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, like, again, that's just bad decision making. You've got like when you've got advantage, especially against characters like Chun who rely on kind of momentum to keep control of the round. You've got.
There are also characters who have like outside of lightning legs, like. Outside of lightning legs, like all of her other stuff is charge. Like she's got to like put some work into that, and the only thing she can do on wake up is gonna like light you up is EX legs, or not EX legs, but EX spinning birdie kick.
And again, she never uses it this whole game. She hasn't used that EX once, and like that's the thing you have to keep track of. Like, is this person I'm fighting someone who tends to pull it out early, or is it someone who tends to just not use it very much?
And like that's the thing too, is like, and something you like kind of learn just to get an idea of is like, if they do it once, that means they got the capacity to do it at any time, and they're willing to. So you can bait them, and like, especially like Ryu is still one of the like. I was talking to Garbage, who's one of the other moderators and Cammy/Alex coach for New Challenger, and like both of us were like, yeah, no, Ryu still hits like a truck, and he never stopped hitting like a truck.
Yeah, that was always the advantage he had. If he landed that crush counter or heavy combo on you, you lost a ton of health, and quickly.
It's bad.
Like, and the problem here is basically this Chun, like this Eazy-E's like the fundamental problem with his play is that he keeps giving up opportunities to do that big boy damage, like either by dropping combos or by giving up positioning and Oki. Like his defense is reasonable. Like and his like spacing and his like game plan, he's just too passive.
He really is. It's frustrating. It's not annoying. Annoying is a really bad word. It's just like it's frustrating because like these are easily correctable mistakes that could have just saved these rounds.
All right, so let's get to this last round he did against a different Chun, which I grabbed because I thought it was the first Chun, but whatever, close enough.
Sometimes it do be that way. So this is a solid round so far. Like he's kind of he's getting pressured a little bit.
Walked right into that Chun, but then the Chun didn't take anything from it. So same criticism on her there. Ooh, good parry.
That was a good parry. That might have been a situation where I would have parried, but I'm also a madman.
Yeah, lower players, you got. That was excellent.
There was some damage left on the floor for that, but I'll take it.
Again, like, and he's ending a lot of these combos and sweeps when he really shouldn't be. Like that, he could have just finished that combo and killed her.
He could have parried those Kikoshos and she died.
But he at least he finally did something about the Kikosho pressure there. Like he
challenged it, which is fine.
Yeah, like you gotta bad parry there.
You gotta.
Okay, there we go, combo, and again, let's go.
Just kind of drop, and it may be there may be some lag in this, but just like that's also just like that. What were you doing, young man?
Like these combo drops are like what consistently kills him. Like I think he ends up winning this because she's not doing very much damage in return, but like you cannot drop that many combos and expect to make it above low gold.
No, because like it's especially the point where like doing something like that will kill you.
Especially with characters where if you drop the combo, you're now unsafe and punishable.
I mean, this is also a game where Abigail exists, where the slightest mistake is a 70% life lead, or 70%. Ooh!
Again, excellent work, and there we go, some real damage finally, though I think he still could have gotten a second hit in there.
Yeah, he could have. You can straight just do, I'm not mistaken, you can just straight do, like, solar plexus into... You can do solar plexus into...
Tatsu Arshoryu?
Into any of those combinations. Yeah, let me look at that real quick, because I'll pull that up right now, just because like that V trigger is crazy good. Also, it's a parry. You take bets, but
yeah. So again, this is good right here. She's got the Kikosho out, and she tries to come in, use it for pressure, start doing stuff, gets countered. Like that's exactly what you want to be ready for. Like maybe not. I wouldn't have personally used the counter for it, but hey, you do what works. Like that's the kind of thing you got to start doing. You got to start, knowing that you can challenge and that you should challenge things. But like the overall like lesson of these sets is that you cannot leave that damage sitting there on the floor, or you will strong potential you will start to lose. Like, not always. Sometimes the opponent was doing the same thing or, otherwise screwing up. Okay, chat's saying, yeah, that you only get one hit, so those Shoryukens are the correct choice. Though, maybe you could also argue he could maybe do a Tatsu there for the Oki.
Yeah, or you could probably get light Tatsu.
But either way, like, the overall...
Wow, if you can only get one hit off that, that's kind of hot trash.
I mean, it's a pretty solid hit. But,
I guess.
The kind of the overall lesson of this set of sets, as it were, is that, like I said, can't leave that damage on the table. Gotta be willing to aggress and challenge, and then like take the damage you get for doing it. You can't be dropping combos in gold. Like that will start to get you killed very quickly.
Yeah, like, and especially like, Street Fighter V follows the Super Turbo school of, yo dog, you get hit, you get rocked. So, but all right, I think we've kind of covered that. Like, we've got in there.
So the next one is another one from our favorite consistent Guile, still moving his way on up through the ranks.
It's our friend.
Yeah, so he's... SRL let me know that unfortunately this one does not include any more hilarious bungling of certain moves, but still going to be a good time. Good jump in by that Ryu there.
That is a good jump in.
Good flash hit. Good use of the slow fireball there to catch Ryu out trying to, do stupid stuff.
At this point, like, especially with this Ryu kind of like jumping, like, I'd maybe kind of like I shift my strategy more towards like anti-airs because like,
which is I mean, that's definitely what he definitely did that there. Like, let's go back over that because that's a good example of adaptation. So this,
and I mean, the other side too is he got pretty lucky because like, he didn't take a huge amount of damage off those jump-ins like he should.
That one was a pretty good one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, right after that, very clear shift to just waiting for the obvious jump-ins and punishing them.
Yeah.
And so the Ryu shifts again. He's going into this fireball war, which is not really a good idea, but it is a shift in strategy.
It's not a war that Ryu wins.
No, but shifting strategies. Ooh.
That was a...
Ooh. But drops it.
Yeah, this is a drop combo.
I could have punished that better.
Yeah, there's a little bit of punish. My friend... Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so, like, big compliments to SRO here. Like, very, very consistent, solid anti-air.
That was gutsy. That was really gutsy.
This Ryu's a better. So, like, against someone like this, like, you notice them doing all these big bets, you start baiting. Like, that is the correct thing here. You see someone who just keeps making these big bets, you start baiting the bad outcome. And I want to say SRO is kind of showing he understands this because he's, slowing down his play, letting this Ryu do these dumb jump-ins and dumb fireballs and dumb tatsus and just punishing them.
There's definitely some really good space control.
Yeah, and like these anti-airs are on point. Like, I mean, Guile is a relatively easy character to anti-air with. Let's be fair here, but
he has one of the best like crouching forward anti-air buttons in the game.
But like, there has been very few jump-ins in this after that first couple of ones that hit him that have not been punished.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was some shit. Ooh.
Again, this Ryu just like, oh boy, is that gonna work? Oh yeah.
It absolutely worked. I think even if that had connected, like, the strike doesn't nullify that.
Okay, so different Ryu. Let's see if this Ryu plays differently. Okay,
So he would have gotten that either way.
so like definite like confidence to SRO on his anti-airing in these matches. Like it's definitely on point, and that's like by itself that skill can get you out of silver.
He's retreating a little bit, but it's also Guile, so
Yeah, definitely I would say he needs to be a little more aggressive against some of these Ryus. Like
that
this
was a
guy,
good. That was a really good
V
V trigger
trigger.
pop anti-air.
Yeah, so for any of you watching who don't know, you can use the time freeze on V trigger to figure out what's going on, so that you can react appropriately. Like that is a very
like
legitimate
that.
use of it.
I like that crosscut flash kick. I know it's a lot easier to do than say a crosscut DP, but it's still good.
Yeah, so far in these games, if I have one thing to say to SRO, who I see in the chat, so he is listening to this, you need to be a little bit more advancing in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah, Guile is like a character who, like, especially now in season 3, like, he can kind of get up in that face. Like, he's got the ability to pressure and kind of keep that stuff going and just
like
control. You can control. He controls space with more than just hurricanes, or not more than just sonic booms and flash kicks.
like when you get like knockdowns and stuff, don't back up, don't jump back, like don't do
Yeah, like you have upside down kick is a really good meaty button.
like you don't. If you're constantly being back in the corner as Guile, you need to evaluate how you're moving. Like, it's sometimes ending up in the corner as Guile is just natural, because the opponent's aggressive and you're just ceding some space to get charge. That happens sometimes, and then you fight your way out of the corner. It's okay. But if you're on the advantage, you got to move forward.
Yeah, forward advantage is really important.
And like, if you don't have boom charge, that's okay sometimes, because like if
You
have
have every tool in this game available to you.
like your buttons are good, you've got upside down kick, you've got bullet knee.
You have some of the best command normals in the game.
You've got good jump ins, you've got good jab confirms. You've got to like be willing to aggress as Guile.
Crouching jab, flash kick.
Ooh, that was dirty.
That was gutsy.
Props to that. Like, that was a good use of the V trigger, like change in the flash kick. That Ryu did not know what was going on there.
I mean, that Guile V trigger too is deceptive because like it makes it look like you're more. It makes it look like that flash kick is safe, but it is not. I was playing a Guile today and got flash kicked, and that came out, and even after that I still had time to do Laura stand heavy punch crush counter.
Yeah, but people don't understand that, and a second flash kick, especially a second EX flash kick, will catch people who are a little bit slow on reacting. Like, it's a reasonable gamble to try once or twice, though not consistently.
Yeah, which for reference, Laura's standing heavy punch is 8 frames, so you've got like, you may not be able to get that crush counter, but you can definitely push it.
Again, that gutsy move, but this Ryu is a little bit smarter.
This Ryu is definitely got some sense on him.
Yeah,
I don't like how often he's using this. Like, especially after like that first ploy did not go the way he wanted it to.
Yeah. So he's in the chat. He says this is these are some older matches, and before he really saw how V Trigger 2 was supposed to work, demonstrated by Daigo. But definitely
Ichi 2, hell of a set.
Ooh. Activation right into the foot.
I saw that come in. I was like,
Yeah, activation actually does have a small invincibility window, but it's so small that most moves will still be active into it. It's
it's
like
weirdness.
it's like 1 frame of invincibility, which can cause certain moves to whiff, especially if you try to do them really meaty, but unlikely.
Yeah, you definitely there's some stuff to it.
So I think this Ryu is definitely playing kind of cowed now. He's not like really trying to advance. He's letting himself get baited in this fireball war, slow play style that just benefits Guile, and yeah, that wraps him up.
And that's the thing, like especially in this matchup, it's a matchup where Ryu needs to get in and get on Guile, because if you don't, it's like he will just hammer you.
All right, so yeah, I think that's enough of going through some of SRO stuff again. Like can't.
Give us some more recent stuff from you.
Yeah, like we definitely want to see some contrast, some more recent stuff.
Yeah, I do want to see that development arc.
But so it's time.
Is it time?
It's time. So
whose man's this is? Who man's this is?
So this is actually Seth's sets. So this will be kind of two things going on here. This is partially one to show you a little bit of a higher level play, and work through this. Okay, so SRO says that the later matches in the same video are probably more recent. So let's go ahead and before we move on, let's show one later set to see if there's a kind of get a contrast.
I got.
So let's go to the last set that's linked here.
I got.
We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. All right, so these are, he says, like basically last month, so much more recent than these starting ones. And yeah, his rank's higher.
So he's also starting to fight golds too, which is.
All right, so
I kind of want to see how that goes because he's definitely too good to be in silver.
Yeah, so already definitely we're seeing much stronger forward movement here.
Yeah, and that's the thing that like a lot of people don't understand. Guile's ability to like move forward is disgusting. Especially for a charge character, like he like, and especially like while still back charging, like he's got Makoto normals from like Street Fighter or from Third Strike and from like Street Fighter 4, where like a good chunk of his like normals and his command normals move him forward, and he can charge through those too.
Definitely
crazy.
Definitely still doing some jumping back in this one. I want to see some stuff from this month, next time, because like. That jumping back tendency is not terrible on Guile, but it's not good either.
And especially like there are grapplers with moves that are meant to chase down people who jump down back.
Yeah, like
lower heavy bolt,
Zangief jump EX or regular air throw. Like you jump against a Zangief who's anticipating, he's just going to jump right after you and grab you.
Yeah, you getting. The Russian skies are about to be defended.
So you definitely have to watch that tendency. Smart players also do things like throw fireballs you're going to land on.
Oh, that's why you can't use that flash kick like that.
Good EX use there.
That was a really good EX.
Like yeah,
because you can tell right there that Ember was like he wanted to get that meaty situation because Ryu has really good meaty setups with just with standing jab, like standing jab into medium punch target combo does a lot. It does a lot of damage, and you can get cancels off of it. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, so
I really like a lot of these anti-airs too. Like I don't advocate a lot for jab anti-airs. There are some characters who have ones that are maybe too good, like Akuma or Jury.
Zangief cough.
Yeah, I thought
Abigail
Swipe got nerfed.
It's worse than it was before, but it's still crazy good at anti-airing.
But it's silly. That you gotta set that up, my dude.
Yeah, like so consistent good things like through all of these. Very strong anti-airs, very strong use of space control in the middle. Things to work on. Being aggressive, closing rounds out, and knowing
immediately started with that jump back and got lit up for it.
Yeah, knowing how to close rounds out and learning to be a bit more aggressive when you have advantage. Like, and again, since these are
Yeah, he's a little bit too like this Ryu has adapted to him.
yeah. So, all right. So let's close on that.
And so, like, when I say this Ryu is adapted, I do think that. Sorry, I do think that you've got some really good like neutral fundamentals, but you were running like the maddest set play you could at that point. Like you had a plan, you had an idea of the way things worked, and it did not go well. So that's the thing is like there is a time and a place for set play, especially if you're a grappler. But like it is always better to kind of like try to manually do stuff, and like set play enables autopilot, which is bad.
All right. So back to what we were saying. This is our man Seth series playing some of our other very strong players. So much higher rank play than we're used to. Like you can see the LP totals here. We're looking at like platinum to diamond.
Yeah, the person I'm fighting was a master rank Ibuki in season 2, so this is one of my training partners from my local scene.
So this is two things. One, you show us some higher level play, talk about the difference in analyzing higher level play versus kind of gold minus, and also to demonstrate like how you look, looking back at your own replays, analyzing your own play, because this is an opportunity for Seth to.
Yeah. So just like for reference, like I've gone back and actually done I picked the first 2 matches for a reason. I've actually gone back and written like 4 or 5 pages of notes of interactions, what went wrong, what they were doing, off each of these games.
And you don't necessarily have to do that kind of stuff, like.
No, I'm very thorough.
Seth's very serious about this, but that's the sort of thing you can do when you have access to your own replays. And so let's go through these and kind of let Seth talk about.
There's a little bit. I didn't edit these down. These were just these are for kind of my own personal like watching, and I don't feel real bad going through a bunch of stuff. So
So I'll let Seth take the lead here since these are his matches, so he's going to have the best commentary on what he was thinking.
Okay. So, yeah. Insert Seth series curvature of the Earth quote here. But so one thing you'll see, like especially like right here in the, like I'm throwing a lot of claps forward because I use claps against characters like Colleen and Chun-Li because a lot of them, like right there, go back a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty good.
This interaction, like right here, I want to break down this. Like, so see this clap that comes out. The way Laura's claps work is if I hit you point blank with it, I can grab you off of it. It's not guaranteed, but it works most of the time if they're not expecting it. But the way I used it here, that clap is complete and has enough hit stun on it to where I can follow up combos with it, which is what happens here.
It gets red on the jump, though.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like this is someone who I have played hours and hours with, so he knows some of my habits.
Which is why the ideal fighting game player does not have the habits.
Yeah.
Theoretically. It's really hard not to because that's how people are. But like the fewer like obvious things you do over and over you have, the more you have options.
So like right here, this round kind of gets lost just on spacing wars. Like there's a bit of a drop there. Yeah. Like that's a moment like I consider Colleen's counter to be like a DP because you can crush counter if it whiffs, and in that situation, I was autopiloting my pressure and I got lit up for it.
And again, that's something that like when you're playing, especially when you're playing someone who knows who you are and knows what you do, can't get away with it. they'll insert that counter or DP right in it.
And so that right there, that was supposed to be a standing heavy punch EX clap right there, but those inputs kind of don't go the way I want, and I need to get better at them. So like one thing you see like especially a lot in this match is like there's a lot of just like button spacing and a lot of kind of like.
So I want to go over what just happened there because that's both useful for the new players and also just like a great thing to note.
Yeah.
So Seth, EX Parabellum completely whiffs because Seth jumped. Seth gets this combo, which he then resets. So right there, that after that situation, Laura's can basically...
EX clap is my reset tool.
Basically, he could have crossed under there, but he didn't, and so Banajin blocked the wrong direction. And like low-level Laura's won't do that a lot because it requires a certain amount of hit confirming, knowing how the clap works, and knowing how to dash through, like what the difference is between the sequence of events that will cause you to pass through, to cross under, and which ones will keep you in front. But like as you start moving up the ranks, you'll start seeing more and more stuff like that because resets like that let you get more damage than a single like completed combo in that situation was. Because like he could have
it resets scaling.
Yeah,
that's what the reset is it resets the combo meter and it resets the scaling.
Like he could have in that situation just completed the combo, gone into probably launch up heavy bolt and gotten a decent chunk of damage. But instead he did this reset, which is a nasty reset because it's effectively, unless you know exactly what the signs are and have very good reflexes, it's pure guesswork. Is Laura under me or not? And
I'm going to break this down real quick for you. All of this changes in V-Trigger 1. I'm just going to be very upfront about that. If Laura doesn't have V-Trigger, standing medium kick is the button that lets you go under. Standing heavy punch, depending on spacing, is either usually puts you behind. You can, depending on its spacing, it puts you in front or in back. But if you're in that range, you're most likely going behind. Crouching medium punch puts me in front of you.
Yeah, so like I said, it's theoretically visible, but you have to know exactly which of those moves look like, what they are, and then you have to react pretty quickly because right after one of those lands, it's cancel and a dash, and then you have to guess.
Yeah.
So it's theoretically reactable.
How this character works.
It's theoretically reactable, but it's hard, and so you'll see more and more of that kind of play as you get higher in rank because people start knowing about those tactics and they start using them more. Characters are built around that. Ibuki, pure. Some of them are pure guesswork. Some of them are, have a tell, but it's a hard tell. So gets the reset and therefore gets a ton more damage, but misses.
So that was supposed to be Sunset.
Yeah, so that was another reset in the Sunset Wheel, which would have worked based on what Colleen was doing there, but unfortunately, everyone misses inputs. So like when we criticize you for missing inputs, it's not because it's like anybody's perfect. It's because
circle backs are hard.
It's because it's just something you need to practice, and when you see yourself missing inputs and screwing up, you've got to just say, "Oh, I need to work on that."
So one thing I'm really not doing here is I'm letting the Colleen kind of. Colleen's ice skates are very similar to Ken's. They're very similar to Ken's runs, and they're similar to Laura's forward command dash in that she is not safe while they are active.
So what did you jump? Just out of curiosity, why did you jump over there? Were you trying to get a cross up?
I was trying to get a cross up.
Yeah, I saw it whiff, but
yeah. Replay that scenario for me real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because I don't know if I would have done that, but
This is also a good reason, like, I picked these sets too, is like, these sets are from when I was still kind of developing, like, a little bit of my neutral.
yeah,
And, like, they also contain little bits of my autopiloting habits,
yeah,
which traditionally, I, like, right now, I would have looked at that and not cornered myself.
yeah, and that's something we've criticized before on this show, and like I continued, even for you, I gotta say, like that was not. I don't think that was the right decision. Like you
It
didn't get
was.
you didn't get punished too hard for it. Like he backed off. I'm not sure why, but you could have been.
So that was just kind of a throwing buttons out situation, and I did not capitalize on that. Did not capitalize on that crush counter the way I should have.
Good use of the throws here, though. Like up until now in this entire game, like your throw usage has been kind of limited, at least the command throws. So I think Bananagen was maybe not ready for those.
Especially here recently, like I kind of
That one again, yeah, same thing.
I tried to play
Ooh.
this character the way that like other characters in Street Fighter V are played, very high pressure, very
Solid.
very high pressure, very kind of like solid stuff like that. And then because like I kind of I was afraid of how to use the throw, and I especially like early on where I've kind of been conditioned maybe to not throw because of some of these situations. Like that's where that gets a little scary.
All right, so another match against Bananagen. Were these sequential? Is this like match 2 or match?
This was a first to 10.
Oh, okay, so this is just later in the set.
This is the second. All of these are in order.
Okay, good. Just checking. All right, so a lot of whiffing and neutral there. Ooh, solid block on the overhead.
Yeah, so like
That-
overhead unless confirmed in her new clap chain cancels is always a risk, and it's one that up until recently I was using very aggressively.
Yeah, I was about to say that like pressure chain did there looked kind of canned, I guess I would say. Like, just a feeling I had about it. It was like, okay, that's going to end in overhead.
That was an autopilot string.
Oof, good throw. Okay, solid whiff punish there.
Yo, you want to see some stuff?
Yeah, okay. So that's that V-Trigger 1 version of the mix-up we talked about there, which is, I believe, complete guesswork, right?
So, not really. There is a trick to beat that setup. That second, go ahead and I want you to play that one.
Yeah,
I
because
love this. I legitimately love this setup because it is disgusting.
Yeah, so and again, this
So
is
you
useful.
see this clap right there?
The second clap.
Go back a little bit, like right there.
So first clap, second clap.
That's the thing you block.
So basically, right as that clap.
The second clap isn't real. Right now, I'm immediate. So I let that clap rock. Colleen gets launched into the air. But what I do here is I pin Colleen, I pin the character down, which is what allows the medium bolt to hit.
Yeah. So basically, so what's the trick? You got to immediately reverse your block as
You have to block down back immediately. You have to block down back from the direct. You have to block down back from the direction I was at.
Yep. So basically, an immediate directional switch as you see that second clap come out.
Yeah. Well, the first clap is guaranteed, and then you just need to be holding for that one. You need to be holding down back on whichever side I was on first. There are other ways that reset gets really dirty if I think you know how to block it, but that's the basic form of it.
Yeah, so that's solid, use of that nastiness to close that round out. But ooh, big jump in.
Yeah.
Neither of you guys are taking to the air too much, so the anti-airs aren't really coming out because they haven't had to. And so that's a note for players. We talk about get good at your anti-airs because it matters. But there is a certain point where it starts to matter a little bit less because people stop like jumping randomly as much. They start using it like neutral jumps and stuff that's harder to anti-air or like setup jumps. But that doesn't mean you should let it languish, because if someone starts testing your anti-airs and you don't do them, they're going to keep jumping. But like there's definitely a point where people, like, because they're aware the other person should have their anti-airs on point, stop jumping quite so much. And that's like, the game kind of evolves around you as you get better.
And that's the thing, like, you see in this set is, like, I'm not by any means saying that I'm good, but both of us are at a level to where we know how to play the ground game, and it's more beneficial for us to play the ground game. He knows that I'm going to anti-air him, and I know he's going to anti-air me.
Yeah. Which is why, like, at the end of the day, sometimes you still do want to pull that random jump out because they've stopped looking for it. But you have to know that. You have to think about it in terms of, like, this is something they're not going to expect, rather than this is a thing I do because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, there's that canned overhead again.
Yeah, so this is... I think I pulled this one out.
Falls for that time, probably because, at that point she simply was not expecting you to do it again.
Yeah, that...
Because that was too. So let's look at that again, because that's a good example. Like,
every bit of this last round is stolen.
So that's a good example of conditioning, effectively. So let's rewind further. I want to see that first overhead. Anyway, so every overhead up until now has been blocked, and so what Bananagen's probably thinking here is, okay, overhead again. I just punish it. Boom. Okay, so Seth should be smart here and not do that again, because when you're a reasonably good player who thinks they know what's going on, you tend to treat your opponents the same way. Your opponent's like, oh, there's no way they're going to do that same stupid thing again, and so you just stop looking for it as much. So Seth does it again, but this time Bananagen isn't.
So the other side.
Go ahead.
There is a little bit of, like, rhyme to my reason. That clap makes it harder to punish.
Yeah, but
the EX thunderclap makes that. I think it makes it from being minus. The EX clap is to condition you not to do anything.
But, like, the thing is that Bananagen, I believe, if you look at the animations at least, was standing and got hit by this one. So, like, they were trying to do something. So, but what that tells me is that, Bananagen didn't believe that was real. Like, did not think that Seth was not going to do that again. And that is a thing you can use. Like, that's a thought process you have to keep in mind. Like, dumb stuff works sometimes because people stop believing you'll do it. Which is why I say sometimes you just gotta do a thing. Like, you gotta just EX shore you, or gotta just throw out the command grab, because if you don't threaten it once in a while, they don't believe you can do it, and that changes how they play. And
sometimes you have to use your ass and go dumb.
Not a lot, because the downside is very not in your favor. But sometimes you just gotta do the dumb thing because the opponent is expecting the smart thing.
Sometimes you just go in.
And, like, this entire, like, sequence that kills Bananagen here is just them expecting the smart thing and getting caught by the dumb thing. Like, that second overhead, like, they definitely ducked. They were like, oh, I'm going to be... This is the third time. There's no way it's going to be another overhead. I'm going to duck. And by the time he was like, oh, shit, that's an overhead, it was too late.
The other side, too, is that the side switch conditioned him to block low. Because on that side switch, if I scoop him, it's going to whiff. Or I can go low and he blocks.
Alright, so that's, I think, everything we wanted to get through today, and we're already running a little bit over the usual time. But I think we're going to continue occasionally bringing Seth's replays up, because he is, of the two of us, he's definitely the more meticulous about saving them and going through them, analyzing them. So definitely a thing where it's useful for everybody to see like how you analyze your own matches, kind of get in your own mindset.
Yeah.
And
like, I like these replays specifically, and I chose them because these replays really kind of highlight some of the really like dangerous gambling that my style had. Like I've recently kind of changed my play style to a more methodical, more like I try to think through all my matches and stuff now, and like it's weighing my feet down a little bit, because it's what happens when you're trying something new. Like you're constantly thinking about it, and it slows you down just a bit. But like as you get better and as you get used to it, like it becomes that second nature. And so depending on how stuff go, and depending on like kind of dumpster fire that is my life right now, I'll try to pull some newer stuff in and kind of try to just show some stuff, grab some more stuff from like high level. And just when I say high level, I mean like upper plat to diamond and up. So, which I do, like I run sets with diamond ranked players nonstop, just because that's how you get better. But it's just an illustration of how these things work and how these. I wanted to bring those in because we cover a lot of sets that are just like, yo dog, quit jumping. Yo dog, don't drop your combos. Yo dog, you should have DP'd that. And I think the other part of this too is like, especially like a lot of our players, who used to benefit from this program, like Rick and Biak and Nia, all are moving up and starting to develop. And while we still have newer players who are in their bronze and their silvers, we're also seeing a lot more gold sets. So painting a picture of kind of like what higher level play and balancing back and forth between that very basic fundamental knowledge and this is how you play Street Fighter is really important.
All right. So with that very, very good piece of advice there, I think it's time to call it for the evening. Appreciate everyone who came out. Please remember to send your replays to nchbeginnerbreakdowns@gmail.com, so that both we take pretty much all ranks at this point. But especially if you have something you're struggling with, or there's a particular fight that or match you're confused about, definitely send that one in. We want to help you, and we can help you best by if you can tell us what we're trying to target.
All right, Al. Well, it's been a good one. Going throughout the future, beginner breakdowns is going to be just kind of a little bit skewed. I'm dealing with a little bit of personal stuff right now and might be in between a big move. So we're going to attempt to like keep it here every week and keep it at the same time and try to keep it consistent. Just understand like, because I don't get paid for this. We both work full time. I'm personally like, I work 40 hours a week. I'm a college student and my life is a goddamn mess. So, when we get DMs and when we get everything, and especially like I'm one of the acting mods of New Challenger, so I am also kind of like making sure you guys just don't like drown each other and act a fool. Just understand that like if I don't answer your DMs or I don't get back to you, like I'm not ignoring you. It's just like we both kind of lead busy lives, and we will like anything you send us, we will use. Anything you hand us, anything you give us, we will do our best to make sure that your videos and everything are represented. So please don't, especially like, because we do get DMs from people, and like I can't speak for Kizza, but I'm really bad about answering my DMs.
Yeah, I'm bad too. I'm terrible.
Like we're not ignoring you. It's just both he and I are like grown ass adults, and so we do have lives that kind of get in the way sometimes.
All right. Well, appreciate everyone who came out tonight, and we will see you next week.
Have a good night, y'all.